going on? It's my Wi-Fi. Uh, it looks like we're in. Live is on. It's all the way live. Hi, my name is Angelica Corral with What in the World event. And aquí tenemos, we have my friend Gabe Leal. We're going to talk about cultura, culture. We're going to talk about amor, love, and we're going to talk about film.
Film.
So but first of all, I want to talk about Gabe El Chiquito when he was little and how he grew up and what made Gabe who he is today. So over to you, my friend. Tell us about little Gabe.
Little. Well, I grew up the middle sibling of six. So
Mhm.
we're Hispanic. We have big families, and we don't know any other way. So
Mhm.
yeah, I grew up the middle child of six. I have four other brothers and then a younger sister.
Mhm.
Um, growing up in a growing up in a big household like that,
Mhm.
you have to learn to start like pretty much when you're young. You have to learn to start fending for yourself. I mean, even though you're there with your family, like um, like I said, you come in there, you have a dozen tamales, and then you get what you get, and if you don't get it when you can, there's no there's no other thing. So growing up as a little kid, I always learned that I had to incorporate family in all the things that I do. Family was huge, important in my life. Um, they, a lot of my older brothers were my influences early on. I learned a lot of things about myself, just being with them, hanging with them. Then I also started to understand that as I got older, um, even as a little kid, I had to learn to start doing the things that I like doing. I was more extroverted as a young child. I used to love to talk a lot. I was very emotional. I was creative. Like I started drawing my own comic books when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Hugo the mouse was my first character and I based it off my life, of course. Like he had siblings and he was always in arguments, and it spoke to my creative spirit as a young child. So I grew up in a loving family. uh, Pretty much most of my life. My parents got divorced as I got a little bit older, but um, I had a pretty good upbringing. Um, my family had started my grandparents, let's put it, my padres, my abuelos, they started a business in the heart of central Dallas, and Little Mexico's where it was. And that's where a lot of the time that I spent as a youth it was as well, like being around that barrio and all the kids and hanging around there and just understanding what it was again to have family, to have culture, to be rich and what it is. And being a kid, you didn't know any different though. You were kind of oblivious to it. I didn't really see or pay too much attention because I was just a kid and playing and having fun and going out and doing things, playing soccer, playing football. We were doing all the things as a little kid, and right there, right outside my grandparents' business. I mean, it felt like home. All of this stuff felt like home,
Nice.
and it made a very big impact of why I myself wanted to have a big family and have you know just that around me because it always was endearing and it was rich. Even if we didn't at times didn't have a lot of money, it was rich in spirit, and just having those people around, having people that cared about you around made a lot of difference. And that's where like a lot of my influences in my youth came from, and why I do the things that I do now, because I had great role models to show me how to do that stuff. Like I did, like I knew, like I shared today in a LinkedIn post about my grandparents. My grandmother, like I said, they had their business, and most of their customers and most of the people that came in were their neighbors. Ya son los vecinos. And if they didn't have enough, she made it enough. That's how my abuelita was. She always made sure you had enough and that you didn't have to worry that everything was going to be okay. She made it that way. And her giving spirit became what we all learned as well. Like we served in the same way. I mean, she was, she was a strong Catholic woman. Iba a iglesia all the Sundays until she couldn't. She had her ofrenda at home. She had all her candles. I mean, she had it all. She had all the stuff. She had her rosaries.
Mhm.
That's what she was. She was faithful in believing in her spirit, in our Savior, and in people. And that's where I learned a lot of my things and learning the things that really were important to me. And I didn't realize it back then, Angelica, but those came the structure of what I was to become. Like
Yes.
those things were implanted in me very, very young. Um, and the fun part was it allowed me to understand that I could just be who I was.
Mhm.
Like I didn't have to pretend. She always was one of those people that said, "You don't have to be something else. You don't want to be me."
Mhm.
She would always. She was. That's why I said she was a strong woman. She lived to 96 years old. She had a great, great life, and that was a model for me to go. You know what? I want that. So whatever
That
that is, I want some
mhm.
of that.
Was that abuelita?
Yes, strong, strong women. They were women of iron. Like they
Mhm.
were women of iron, and they did because they had to.
Mhm. Mhm.
They did because they knew no better, and it was the way that we raised. That's how they raised the men to be that way,
Yeah.
and we speak volumes of what they instilled inside of each one of us. Her, my mom, um, just all the women that I've had in my life. I've been very lucky and blessed to have that have that be a part of everything. And it was important to me to find
Mhm.
that. So, yeah, it was fun. I've had, I mean, like I said, I can't complain about my childhood.
Mhm.
Um, like, except having to share with so many siblings, but other than that, life was good for me. And, um, I, the fun part is that I got to still experience the richness of being in that culture and having friends and family who, even though we were a little bit well off and they
Yes.
weren't, we could still, you know, resonate with what a lot of them were going through. And, we never looked above and act like that we were better than anybody because
Mhm.
she wouldn't allow it. My grandmother wouldn't allow it. Neither would my mother. Don't you dare think you're better
Mhm.
than anyone else around you. You're just the same. Like my grandfather, same way. He used to tell his son, he used to tell him, behold, you put on your pants the same way every other person does. Doesn't make you any better or any less. Okay, remember that. So I took a lot, and going back and thinking about it today when I was writing about this in my post, it really just made me appreciative of the things that I was oblivious to when I was that young. I didn't know, but subconsciously all that stuff was being put there. So that's kind of what I was in my childhood and who I was as little Gabrielito growing up. Or my grandpa used to call me. He tried to. I always told him respect. He used to call me Mr. Gabe, and I love that. So
Mr. Gabe. I love it. I'm gonna call you Mr. Gabe now. Orale, Mr. Gabe. That
yes,
that is so cute. When you talk about how you have a big family, it made me think of my dad whenever the kids were out of the house,
yeah,
he used to say, "The house is sad now," because there wasn't
yeah,
any sound. Because when you have the kids, there's running around, there's laughing, there's action, right? And
yeah,
so he always loved the kids being around because they brought life to the house, right? And I see
yes.
we have a few messages here. I see Enrique A says, "Mira muchacho." And Lady Drew says, "Hello, blessed be." Robert Barry, What does Robert Barry there have? Uh, uh, he has one for the boys, raising the hand for the
Yeah,
boys.
he's actually
Dean LeBay. Uh,
yes, he's that's his thing is potatoes. So I
okay,
don't
the
know
Papa.
the papas.
Okay, we got the Papas there. And Mr. Mr.
Mr.
J.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Come on, don't. Now the goes the
And now that's gonna be your name on LinkedIn now. But, I think that's cool that he was thinking, I want my, grandson to feel like he's special, so I'm gonna call him Mr. Gabe, not just,
yeah,
Gabrielito, you know?
yeah, like that was important to him. Like he was a so my grandfather was actually he was a first generation Latino here. My grandmother came over from Mexico.
Mhm.
She was
What part of
from
Mexico?
so
Oh, you're
she was from the frontera. She was from Matamoros. She came here and moved to Texas. Probably right before the Depression.
Mhm.
She was born in 19. Oh my god, like 1910.
Wow.
So she so yeah, what was it? A little bit longer, like 12 somewhere. But they moved here when she was very young. They came over into Texas. And the thing is, like my grandfather, even though he was first generation,
Mhm.
his grandparents lived in Texas before it was Texas. So they
Wow.
got
Still
annexed.
Mexico.
It was still Mexico back then when when they
That's
lived there, and
that's wild.
it became part of Texas.
Mhm.
So yeah, but he was here and he stayed here and he he took advantage of being a citizen. And he was very proud of that, and he wanted all his sons to be proud of that as well.
Mhm.
He went and served in the army. He was really, wanting to live, and he never forgot his culture. He was just always glad to have both. Like he
Mhm.
was happy to have both, and
Mhm.
he served in World War II. And so I said, my grandmother was one of those women that was just made of iron. She had 2 kids at the time with no
Mhm.
husband. Didn't know if he was going to come back. Um,
Mm.
when she had to go work in cotton fields, she went strong. She did all the stuff, right? She had to do all the little side hustles to just to keep the family rolling, keep everything going,
Mhm.
until they got back. And um, they again they were the backbone of our family, and um, they left a very lasting legacy themselves, and it really made me see that. And I think all my brothers are the same way. We see the same way of like, if we can leave a legacy like my abuelita, my grandfather did, then
Mhm.
we did one hell of a job. We've made them proud. And that's all we really want to try to do is go out and continue to do and instill the things that they put into us, into other people, and spread it out into the world. So yeah, it's been a it's been wonderful to go back and reflect. I'm glad I did this because it's taken a while, but I didn't really like it hadn't crossed my mind too much lately. And then I sit down and when I started reading more about the Hispanic Heritage Month and going back and thinking about it and then thinking about my days, um, just to go back and marvel at like all the stuff that all those families and everything else they kind of did back then. And like I get like this is the book now. I mean, this is actually one of my it was my brother's godfather, his son, that wrote this. So this is a little book that he wrote called Dallas's Little Mexico. Um,
Nice.
so a lot of pictures,
Congratulations.
a lot of rich culture in here. Like right here. That's I don't know if you might be able. Let me put that in. That picture right there is my grandmother
Wow.
making tortillas back then, and that's how she started the business. Little side hustle there, doing her thing. But yeah, that's it's again, my background is steeped in what I've done, um, just learning from my family ahead of me,
Mhm.
and what I want to kind of continue to do and teach my own kids as I move forward. I have 4 of them, so I want them to remember that and still understand that that is part of it because like I am, let's see, technically I'm third generation
Mhm.
Latino. So been here, but like I said, I still enjoy it. I grew up around the same things. I know how to. I taught my look. I taught my new fiance and her family how to make tamales. That wasn't
Nice.
rich, so we did that last. We actually did that last Christmas. It's like, I was like, hey, we're gonna do it old school way. Like we're
Mhm.
gonna teach you how to do it and make everything from scratch, and because that's how I was taught, and that's how
Yes.
you get the best experience out of it because you get the richness of spending time, the work and
Mhm.
everything that goes in it. And then when you get the final product, it's even better because you're like, oh, this is so great. Tastes so good. So
Yeah. You build those memories and you bond as you're making the food, right?
yes, and that's
It's
the
like
best part is that
yes.
that spending the time. It actually makes you come together because
Mhm.
it's not a one. It's really you can, but it's a hard one person process. It's
Oh,
better
yeah.
when you have family
Mhm.
doing all the things like cleaning the whole house, separating, spreading masa, mixing masa, putting the meat, packing it. I mean, it's all a work. It's a lot of work, but
Mhm.
for a family when they're coming together and do that, bam, it's amazing what you can do as a group. And like I said, it builds memories, and some of my fondest memories are spent around doing that and spending time with my. It was something we always looked forward to. It was almost
Mhm.
like a happy time to
Mhm.
think about it. So yeah, that was always important in my culture and my life, and I continue to do that even now. Build those traditions.
I think it's awesome that you're still continuing that because, it's so easy to give our children things, right? But
Yeah.
that when you what really builds the bond is those experiences that you have together with your children, right? Because that's what you had with
Yeah.
your grandparents, right? And your parents. That you were doing things with them and you remember the things that they said and all of that was going on while you guys
Yeah.
were making those tamales, the assembly line.
Assembly. Yeah, actually, like so. I actually shared a link to on my post. If anybody wants to go back and look at it after the show, don't go now. Wait till we're done. Then you can go check it out. Okay, I don't want y'all to leave. But yeah, there was a link from the 1970s. Like they did a special for public television. They came in and they recorded all the stuff, and they were showing them how the process was.
Uh-huh,
Um, so I kind of shared that as well. Like that you can see my grandmother, my grandfather, my father's in the video. They're just all together in there doing
wow,
making tamales, and that's what built the tradition. That's what built a lot of things. It's just family, like bringing it in. That's what we are. I think
mhm,
that's what our culture is known for, and it's why our culture is rich and continues to be rich. Is because we invest in family, not so
ab
much material things.
absolutely. Let's hear it from the crowd here,
I know.
speaking of your family being special, Robert Berry says, "Gabe is very special."
Oh, well, he knows. We have a special bond, me and Robert.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I
Tell
like
us.
that. Well, me and Robert, we actually met was this, no, almost a year and a half ago. Um, I was down in Houston at a speaking event, and we'd met on LinkedIn, and he was down I was down in the Houston area, and I met him, Raquel Flores, a few other people down there. But
Mhm.
it was cool to get to spend time with Robert and have like just one-on-one conversation, and you really get to know somebody apart from what we're doing on the screen. I mean, we just talked to talk as people and really bonded. And I think he's a stand-up guy. He's amazing at what he does, and yeah, I mean, I love supporting him, and he loves coming back and supporting me, and we just it's great to have those kind of people. Like I said, those kind of people and family in your life.
Absolutely. And what you mentioned that you got to meet him, face to face. I think Felipe also did a post about, meeting people face to face on
Yeah,
LinkedIn. And I met a few people face to face, and there's nothing like it when I mean, one thing, like you said, is being here, virtually, but when you actually get to meet a person face to face, there's a special bond that, you feel like that person really took the time
Yeah.
to meet up with you, right?
Yeah.
And
It's a different energy. It's a
yes.
like there's a different energy. Like you like last week you had on Adi and man, she's like a whole nother level. I met her just last week. As a matter of fact. Um, so she's like, the high energy that you see here is just it matches. It's probably even higher in person.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Absolutely, because when you give the a hug, the energy just gets higher, doesn't it? There's not that human touch just makes everything all the more high energy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm jealous of you guys in Houston or in Texas because you guys have like a big LinkedIn crew, and I'm like, where's the rest of the crew over here in Cali? We're just like everybody's far away. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to go take a trip to Texas just so I could go and, and meet up with the crew because you guys got a whole big old mob over there that I
I
got to
know. There's
with.
so many. I mean, it's
Mhm,
crazy. Like when you
mhm,
think about it and you sit down, you start looking at like all the people who are around in your area, and
mhm,
you're like, man, I can't believe that person's close by me. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, they're having another meetup. I think it's another group, but they're having another meetup on Friday, October 4th. A lot of really influential people here on the platform, and it's just great to that we're getting to do this again. I think this is the part that we missed more than anything when we went through COVID was having to be apart from all of this.
mhm,
And this is something different because then we're getting a chance to actually say hello, to hug somebody, to actually
mhm.
have that energy close enough to you. And it's again, it's a whole nother level of connection and experience, and it's something I wouldn't trade. It's awesome.
Yes, I agree with you. I see we got a few more messages here. Laura
Yeah.
Van Caruso says, "Hello, Gabe." And LinkedIn user, I don't know if on your side you might be able to see who the
Oh
name
no.
of that person that's saying "Hola, hola."
But it's not. Hey, look, it's not a LinkedIn Live unless you have the infamous LinkedIn user show up. So that just means you're on a whole nother level, Angelica.
The LinkedIn user is the mystery person. Lisa Marie says, "Stopping in to show love quick. We're glad that you shopped in, that you
Yeah,
stopped in."
she's got another live she's doing tonight, so I don't blame her for. But it's great that she stopped in and support. I love that when somebody can just say, "Hey, I got another event I'm doing myself, but I'm going to stop in and say hello." Man, that
Yeah,
speaks volumes.
it absolutely does. You remember those people that make those comments and you know that they were there, even if it was just for a minuto, right?
Yep, that's
And
it.
Raquel Raki says, "Familia,"
Yeah,
because we were talking about family, and I feel like we are all family.
we are.
She
Well,
she says,
even though we're not in the same room,
"Uh huh."
we got the same energy, the same vibes, the same kind of, um, just the same kind of feelings that we all share. It's again, it feels like your family. It's even if it's not the family you're born into, it's the family you get to choose, and that's the best part about it.
I get to hear about those tamales, and I start
Yeah.
in my mind, my mouth starts watering, and I start thinking, "Oh yes, with the with the
Well, we
red."
got to talk about look before we forget food. We have to talk about uh, wet bread. So backstory, backstory. I see.
I
Look,
remember that, the wet
so
bread. You got a
back
lot of comments on that one.
I did. Backstory: I was in the Saturday social chat last week, and
Uh-huh,
I came on stage, and they asked you to share a fun fact. And
uh-huh,
one of the fun facts that I said is I love like wet bread, and
uh-huh.
people were like, "What? That's." Some of them were like, "That's gross." Some of them were like, "I'm right on." Like part of it was like I was thinking about what Angelica sent me a message. It's like, hey, like cafecito y pan dulce. I mean, come on! If you've ever had a concha and some nut coffee, you're in heaven. Like
Yeah.
you can't beat it.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and then I had somebody, a good friend, Miss Melissa Houston, reached out and she's like, "Wet bread, that's yuck." And then wait, then she sent me a photo later on, and she's having French onion dip with bread in there. I was like, see, look, wet bread has a place in this world. They'll go knock, and then everybody's like, and then like the birria tacos. I mean, come on, it you have a little bit of moisture in there. It's not just all dry and hard. So
It's
it
juicy.
is juicy, baby. That's the way it's got to be. And I think that's how I like it. I like, just something. It's a little bit of different texture, but it all goes down the same. I mean, come on.
But it's I think it just gives it a great taste when you dip it, right?
Yeah, it does. It changes it. Look, it changes the structure of what it is. Like, not that there not that there's nothing wrong with the little like crispy hard bread, but like I said, when you have your hot coffee and you're sitting there and you're just the bread's there, everything's there. It's a whole nother experience. Like I said, it adds to the experience of eating. Like, here I am, my mouth is watering, saving just thinking about it, talking about it. So, uh,
It's funny because I'll be at lunch at work and I'll have my, pan dulce and I'll have my coffee. And then, I got my other, some of my Mexican friends, and then they start laughing. They're like, they get it, she's
yeah,
gonna dunk. She's a dunker.
yes. I mean, yeah, some people dunk their donuts in it. Come on, what do you think?
Yeah, there you go.
They-
That's Dunkin' Donuts, right?
what?
That's the name
Yeah,
of that
what do you think?
place.
It's wet bread. So I'm a big advocate for it. If you're not, let me come talk to me. We'll debate it. I'll turn you over to my side. So
That is hilarious. Come to the wet
come to the wet side.
bread spot.
And see, look, now we can look. You did the perfect transition into the next thing we can talk about, which is film.
Yes,
Come to the dark side.
yes.
I love, I love film. I was. Here's a little fun fact about me.
Mhm.
See, look, Adi just came in. She says, I dunk my concha. That's right, girl. That's the way to do it. You can't, you know, you can't have it any other way. I'm telling you, if you've never experienced it, it's something that's be left behind. You're in a whole nother world. It's the red blip. It's the red pill and the blue pill. You'll be like, oh my god, I need to take the blue pill. This is awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, film. I love film. Um, like I said, little fun fact about me. Uh, back, I think it's been almost 20 years
Mhm.
ago, but me and my younger brother, um, we really, really dove into wanting to become like Hollywood script writers. Um, we studied the art. He actually went to he went to school, got
Mhm.
his he got his degree in it. Like, we were really pushing um, into film. One of the reasons that we loved film and we got into it, going back to my culture, but there was a gentleman by the name of Robert Rodriguez.
Yes.
Uh, and he had done a movie called El Mariachi. If you've
Mhm.
never seen it, go watch it because it won the Cannes Film Festival the year that it came out. And that's a big thing. Like, that's,
Yeah.
Cannes is a big thing where, a lot of independent films go out there now. It's kind of just the industry's changed, but back then it was a big deal for an independent film like that to
Mhm.
win the biggest award there at Cannes. And he got it when he wrote El Mariachi.
Mhm.
And, what we loved about it was the fact that he was not only writing his own script, but then he was directing it and put it all together himself. And when at Hollywood loved him. They gave him, a couple of years later, they gave him a big budget film, and he did Desperado. That was with Antonio Banderas and Selma Hayek, and like he him and Quentin Tarantino, they revolutionized the way that storytelling and a lot of things got done. Oh, we got a little baby back there. Look at that. See my little step grandbaby back there. She's back there floating around. I don't know if you can see her over my shoulder, but
Go in the mirror.
yeah, like, well, it's like a back little thing right here. You can
Uh-huh.
kind of see her dancing around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, but anyway, you know, that was one of the things that really inspired us to go try the opportunity to go writing. And we got into a lot of different writing groups. We entered in a lot of competitions. Like, we hired a a writing agent. I mean, we really pushed ourselves to get into it because film just meant a lot to us because we were such fans of it. My father grew up watching a lot of action films. My mother watched a lot of romantic comedies.
Mhm.
So we got a kind of different eclectic mix of what we watched growing up, apart from when we developed our own styles. But yeah, I mean, we there's the AFI Film Festival here in Dallas. We really put ourselves into like volunteering there. I mean, it was a big part of what we did.
Mhm.
Um, that we loved film so much. I mean, we wanted to get into the industry. We wanted to really push. Just some things just don't work out, even as much as you want them, and you invest and you put time in it, and we put our heart and souls into it. It just didn't work out, but didn't change our love for film. I mean, we loved watching movies. We loved watching like the writers themselves. I mean, we've always been advocates, especially for a lot of Latinos in our culture who are in film. I mean,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, you think about it. A couple years ago, um, they had within like a 4 year span, um, three different Mexican directors win the best Oscar for best director. So you had, um, oh my God, why Guillermo del Toro? He won for um, The Shape
Pan's
of Water.
Labyrinth.
He won for
Oh,
The Shape of Water.
uh-huh.
Gabriel Irega won for God. Why am I forgetting the movie? He won, and
Amores
then
Perros.
amount. No, 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 no. That was one of his films, but that wasn't the one that he won for. Um, but they again they were very creative. They had a different eye about how they approached film, what they did, what made them different and stand out that most people probably wouldn't have, paid attention to.
Mhm.
Um, and it was just, something that I paid attention to being young because again, my father loved action movies, and one of his favorite actors, and he would always talk about it, was Anthony Quinn. Even though it sounds Anthony Quinn, his actual name was Manuel Antonio Quinn Oaxaca, and he was actually his father was Irish and Irish Mexican, and his mother was Mexican. And yeah, he was one of the first actual Mexicanos to be nominated for a Best Supporting Actor role. So
Is
like
that for Zorba?
for I think it was for um oh God, what was the film? Not Viva Zapata, but it was uh I can't. It's slipping my mind right now,
It'll
but
come back at 3 in the
it,
morning.
yeah, it'll come. Yeah. Um,
What about Cantinflas?
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to
He was
remember
he
now
was
he won.
talented.
So he actually won
An
an
award.
Academy Award
Mhm.
for Around the World in 80 Days.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, uh, why am I forgetting his real name? Going blank. Morat. Man, I am. Oh gosh, I hate when I forget this and it covers my head. But yes, I mean, I watched the
I'm gonna
film
Google it.
but Mario. Oh gosh, why is it? Uh, um, man, it is killing me. It's on the tip of my tongue. Uh, Mario Moreno.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mario
the
Fortino, Alfonso Moreno
Yeah,
Reyes.
Mario Moreno, who what he went by, but yeah, Cantinflas was. I mean, here you go. They did a movie about him. Like I think it's been about 10 years, but they
I
actually
love
did
the
a.
movie.
Yeah, it was. It's great.
Mhm.
But you got to see, the artistic side of him, and at a time when it wasn't always. It was kind of taboo to have, different actors like that come into play and have prominent roles in the 50s and 60s. Um,
And his
so
struggles.
yeah, and it was like now of course we break through. You see them all the time. You have Jennifer Lopez. You have all kinds of Latino actors out there in the world, with really major parts and having anchor a lot of big budget films, but that wasn't always the case. And um, that was one of the things that always had inspired us to see that. We wanted to see more of that.
Mhm.
Um, and like even now, we want to see. I don't think there's still it still doesn't reflect. I don't think it still reflects like what the population is to like what we see in our culture out there into the world. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always room for growth and improvement in that, and I would love to see more. Hopefully, there's more young creatives out there who are coming through, and giving
And
them the
and old
opportunity.
creatives too.
No, but yes, love us, right? No. Well, I don't. Well, us. I mean, me. I'll take away
Us,
from
I
that.
will say us. I have no shame. But, and what you're saying is it makes a lot of sense because I think that's why as like you, I got into film because I wanted to see more of our culture and being able to tell our stories because a lot of our stories aren't being told, right? And so I thought, after going to the like you went to the film festival, and
Yeah,
when you're around those people, you see the possibilities. And when I was at the San Diego Latino Film Festival, I got inspired and I said I could do this. I could do my own, and that's the beauty, right? We could still do it. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
we could, yeah,
you
go ahead.
s- you see so many now that you still want to see more. Like what was
Mhm,
this? It was the Netflix series Wednesday. Jenny Ortega.
mhm,
Like she you've seen her, like you've seen young actresses like that, like starting to take hold
uh-huh.
in our culture, and hopefully it becomes normal, more accepted to
Yes.
see that. Um, because I think there's just so much talent out there still yet to be discovered, but it's going to take
Yeah.
time. It
Well,
takes time.
I think the beauty of the internet is that you don't have to wait for Hollywood anymore. You
Yeah.
could do okay,
Yes.
you don't wanna do this, then we got the YouTube, we got, and sometimes they'll accept your movie in, streaming services on Amazon Prime or, on a lot there's so many out right now, streaming services, so
Yeah.
I
Like
just
even
think I think we're in a wonderful time where before you used to have a lot of money to direct your things, and now you don't have to have a lot, but it's
no.
nice to have some young actors that wanna
Yeah.
do the acting.
It's nice to have some Hollywood money to also
Well, that's always nice to have that,
that too.
but
That
but you have to start somewhere,
yeah, you do.
and once you start doing what you love and people start seeing it and wanting it, then they start to buy into it. That's how we gotta create a movement.
Yeah.
Chicano movement. Ah!
Yeah. Well, baby, it's already started. It's just like continue to grow it.
I know. I
Let
grew up in that time. I grew up in that in Berkeley, Northern California. But go ahead. I'd love
yeah.
to hear more about you and what was your favorite film growing up?
Ooh,
You and your
so
brother.
I so I shared a lot of movies the other day. I was on a live show and I talked about like three of them.
Mhm,
Um, now the way I qualify a good movie is if it comes on at any point of the movie, I can sit down and watch it and still watch the rest of the movie at whatever point. So like if it's halfway through, I don't go, oh, I gotta watch this from the beginning. It doesn't count, or like catch it towards the end. Like no, like I will if it's a great movie that I've seen,
mhm.
then I will just continue to watch it until the very end. So one of mine that I mentioned the other day was, and it was a big because I was like I think 10 when it came out or 11. Back to the Future was one of my favorite movies, um,
That was
because
a great story.
there you go. It was the sound effects. It was it was the story. It was everything, and it was about a teenage boy. Like he was an 18-year-old boy that went and traveled time and changed a whole lot of things, and like it just made me it made me think about why, like, that could be me one day. Like that could be you could see yourself in those kind of things in life, and just again, just the craziness of it and time travel, like it's fast being fascinated with that, and
Mhm.
the style and the flash and doing it with the DeLorean. I mean, come on, what was not to love about
Mhm.
um that movie? That was one of my um that was one of my favorites. um Gosh, and then growing up, I idol as a writer, I idolized John Hughes.
Mhm.
So John Hughes wrote 16 Candles, he wrote Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he wrote Uncle Buck, he wrote, I mean, if you were a kid in the 80s and there was a movie on the screen that had to deal with teenagers and angst and just any kind of difficult situations, it was
And
probably
comedy.
in comedy, it was probably John Hughes that wrote it.
Yeah.
And he was such a great writer, um, that he made all his characters like align and believable.
Mhm.
Um, that you just fell in love with him. And, and one of the reasons that we love what he did is that, we had read a story that, he wrote out a whole like feature film, a whole script that got turned into a movie in a weekend. Like, who does that? Like, who's
What
just
which
telling?
which feature film was that?
Um, so it was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I
Um,
loved that.
so he like literally,
I remember the part in the hotel where
yeah.
where they're sleeping in the bed.
so so he writes all that in a weekend. Like, that's crazy. Who does that and makes those kind of scenes and comes up like he just had his mind worked differently than ours, and that was his gift, and he knew it.
Can you
Um,
imagine being his friend? If I think that if you hung out with him, you would be laughing all the time.
yes, you would. So yeah, it was one of the coolest things. It's just watching all those movies and knowing that it came from one individual. Like, I mean, he wrote. Think about it, he wrote Home Alone. I mean, how many how many iconic movies that we've watched and can repeat lines from and scenes from and remember came from one
Mhm.
person's mind. That's how impactful that can be, and why, like I let's say, you don't know where the next talent's coming from, who could do it, what individual could do it, but um, it's just you got to have the avenues to let that person find themselves and be discovered. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, I
Um,
think that you found started finding yourself when you started writing
yeah.
recently, right? Isn't it amazing how you look back and something happens when you start writing about your past and you reflect?
Yeah.
Something happens to you. What do you think
Well,
happens?
I think I'll tell you what happened. Love happened to me.
Yes.
Um, so love happened to me.
Speaking of love.
Yeah. So I don't know if she's over there. I think I can hear her
Mhm, mhm,
back behind me, but yeah, it was because I found love,
mhm,
and that gave me another level of understanding of myself and peace, and just being in a place where I was okay with who I was,
mhm,
that I felt like I could write. And writing was always a passion. Like,
mhm,
I just didn't have like I felt like I didn't have the confidence and the support when I was doing it.
mhm,
Like, and it was just something that was drawn out. Um, when I felt again that part of me that became connected with the right person.
mhm,
They change their perspective. They give you a different perspective on life,
mhm.
right? And they bring out the best in you. And once you do, um, there's nothing that's like you can see our picture. There's a picture of us back there. I don't know if you can hold on. I'm gonna
You're
pull it
gonna
right
have
here.
to
See,
you can
I'm,
you're gonna
I'm gonna
have to
bring it over here.
bring it.
So there you go. See, that's me.
Oh,
That's me and my sweetie. You
what a
see.
beautiful couple you guys make. You guys are beautiful.
Yeah, I think she's over there. Hey, baby, you over there? Oh, okay. They want
Bring
to say
bring her
hi to you. They
bring
want
her
to say
on
hi to
down.
you because they know who you are. So Angelica is the host, and of course we got a lot of the same people that we know, like Randy and all these other people in the comments, and they're saying like where's
Yeah, I
that?
was putting Naomi to sleep.
You see like Randy and Sia and just
Uh-huh.
everybody's like here. So I was like, I'm gonna bring her in the camera. Here, come on in. Usually we have our full setup for we have mics for both of us, but
That's okay.
I brought this out. So say hello to Angelica Corral. She's the host, and we were just talking about a little bit about culture and film, and then
Nice.
now love.
Nice. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm glad that he's able to bring the love of his life into the
I
room.
can't hear.
Oh,
Okay. Yes.
I'm glad that Gabe was able to bring the love of his life into the room because it's another picture of why he's the person that he is because you know the people we associate with, they have a lot to do with who we are. So and he sounds like he's much more confident, and I think that you have a lot to do with that. So I'm so glad that I got to meet you, and I'm sure everybody who's here in LinkedIn land is glad to meet you as well. Maybe one of these days we could do
Yes.
a part two, and in the part two we'll have both of you guys, because that way we get to know a little bit about you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I got to go to the LinkedIn social that they had here not too long ago, and I got to see Sia and one of his biggest fans. Like, she was enamored. She was like, she was so excited. I was like,
Who was that?
that's
Was
so
that
sweet.
what was that, Sia?
No, not Sia. No, it was somebody else. What was
so
her name?
so her name's her name's Jihan. So it's
Okay.
She was like,
GHAN. So, but yeah, um, long story short, but we've known each other for a while. We actually got to meet in person, and it was it was kind of cool.
That
So
is nice.
yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah, so it was sweet to see, like, she said that he had made a big difference in her life, so that was nice. But
Well, and
yeah.
that's and you have something to do with that as well because, whoever like mentioned earlier, they always say behind every great man is a great woman.
Aw.
Right?
right there.
Yes, he is definitely the love of my life. I've never dated anybody, never was married to anybody that came close to Gabe.
Wow.
He is amazing. Yes, amazing.
I love it. I love it. And that I know that makes Gabe feel really special because he's only had you to himself. And
Why do you think I'm like I'm not in a rush to share her with the world yet? I love enjoying my time with her and what we do. Even though I love doing this, but like yeah, there's a little bit of part of me that's still stingy.
well, you gotta be stingy about that, about the love of your life, though. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. And we got a lot of comments that came through. Let's see. Randy says, "Hello, my TG." Randy's house is my CG. You
Yeah,
work.
Randy wants to date one of my sisters, so I'm trying to make that happen.
I'm trying to make more love connections.
Oh my goodness, I remember that
Yeah,
program, the
if
Love
he
Connect.
comes to the wedding in June, then he might meet. She's going to be one of my bridesmaids.
Nice, nice. Let's see. Robert Berry asked, "What is the most interesting thing that you learned about your family?"
Mm, I gotta think about that.
Well,
What do
that might have to be for a part two then. Let's see. Oh, Margaret. I think Margaret is the LinkedIn user.
Oh, okay.
So the mystery is solved. Bendiciones, Angelica Corral and Gabe. Hello, ladies and gents. Hi, everyone. Enjoy the fruits of labor together. Time plus experience creates legacy and tradition. And Randy House says, "You're known as Goober." And Randy says he was in Houston Saturday. You can bet he's sitting down right now. And family is extreme. Teresa says family is extremely important, but let's see what else she says here. Um, can't see it. Oh, but family is more than just blood connect. It's those who stand with for you
Hmm.
and up to you. Yeah, we have friends that are just like that. I have friends that are like family, actually. Let's see. I met Robert mug to mug. I'm waiting for Gabe to invite me over for dinner. All that talk about tamales got him hungry. Randy says, "I'm so sorry
I was
you
telling
hear."
how we did the tamale last
For
year.
Christmas. Yeah.
That was fun.
They say everything is bigger in Texas. Wait, what? Well, probably damaged you for life. Sometimes I need a hug, Gabe.
Ooh.
It's time we expand the diversity and inclusivity in the film and television industries. I would like to make connection to those in front of and behind the camera who also support age, gender, and ethnic diversity. Together we can break stereotypes in front of and behind the cameras. Here's our website. Let's talk. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Sounds great. I teach sociology. It's one of the classes I teach in high school. And I do that all the time, trying to break stereotypes. So we talk about discrimination. We talk about all kinds of stuff. And I bring in current information and stuff that's happened in the past and let them kind of dive into a lot of stuff and discover things. I have they called discovery lessons on all of that.
I think
Diversity.
those are very important things to talk about in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I
Now you see why I love her. Like
I see. He's
she's really
cool.
special. I mean, and then on top of that, like I get to do things like impact people, and then
Uh-huh,
she gets to do that on the younger culture that goes through her classrooms, and like
uh-huh.
allowing them to grow into these wonderful adults down the line. So like that's why I love that she's a teacher and she gets to share and like guide a lot of these young individuals who it's a really crucial time in their development,
Yes.
and she gets to talk with them and share them and give them a more a better perspective on what life can be like, and opening their eyes to just what's in front of their phones. Like look over the phone and see what life has out there for real. Like that's how we grew up, we
Yes.
didn't have our head we didn't have our heads in phones and looking down and always, well,
Yes.
we do it now, but we didn't back
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I make them put their phones away every single class. And then I have these little buttons, those ones you've probably seen on the TikTok videos where the dog hits it and it says things. Well, I recorded them and it's like, hi, welcome to class. Please put your phone and your earbuds away before you enter the classroom. Thank you. And so I just push it so I don't have to say it a million times.
I love it.
But I push it as they come in and they're starting to it's like becoming a habit where they know when they come into my classroom it gets put away because we're going to have some really good discussions and we don't need that to distract us from what we're learning.
Absolutely. And
and then
kudos to you, because you are really making a difference in these young ones' lives. And I work with teachers, and I think teachers should be getting paid so much more because you guys are changing the world. Okay, you're changing the world. These are the kids that are going to take care of us. So, right? So I really love what you're doing and having those conversations, because a lot of these kids, they don't even have conversations with their parents. The
No, they
parents don't
don't.
know, the parents don't know how to communicate either. And that's, those are some of the things that I think we try to teach in Head Start, because we work with preschool children, but we try to teach the parents how to have good relationships with their children, and have those back and forth communication, so that the children can talk to them about a problem that maybe they'll have later, and not be afraid because they might get in trouble or something, right? So
Mhm.
I think those discussions that you're having with the children are awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to we need to have a room with her on on uh how to talk to your teenagers and the things to talk about. See, I got Gabe, you brought her in. I know you're busy though. I know you guys are busy, but I just, I just think it's so great what you're doing. Keep up the good work and you
Yeah,
know,
I would love to. Right now, I actually have calmed down a little bit because this last month and a half I've been preparing for homecoming. So I'm a sponsor of two different clubs,
mhm.
Student Council and Class of 2028. And
Uh-huh.
so I was helping get ready for the homecoming dance, the court, all of that. And it's just preparing for an event like that, a dance is wild. Like there's so many moving parts, there's so many things you have to do. It's just, and then because I'm the main contact, I get phone calls and emails and people coming to my classroom on a daily.
Uh-huh.
So it was just a lot. And so
Well,
finally, I'm like,
not only
ooh.
not only that, tell them what else you got concurrently going on while you're doing that too. Like you're getting
Working on my, are you talking about my master's?
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm taking two classes working on my master's degree, and so I was doing that and trying to
Congratulations.
get thank you, get my
Mhm.
papers done. And so it was funny because I emailed one of my professors and I was like, okay, so I was doing this, and this, but I think I'm gonna have my assignment done, and I do want to talk to you like on a Zoom call, hopefully soon once this dies down. And so she's like, wow, that's a whole lot of stuff, and that's great that you're balancing it all. And I'm like, I'm barely making it, but I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's awesome that you guys have each other to support each other and kudos to you. W- I support you over here on my end.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And
And
not only that, I'm still trying to tangle her into doing. Last year, we actually started, or at the beginning of this year, excuse me,
uh-huh,
we started a love show. Like
uh-huh,
we love love so much, and we started talking about relationships and dating and all that kind of stuff. So
uh-huh,
we created a whole nother YouTube channel. We're starting to work on the book, a coaching business eventually to go along with that, but we got to get all these other things done first. And while we're
I
doing
love
that,
it.
we're just that much in love that we want to help other people find it
Mhm,
and let them find the same kind of experience, the same kind of joy that we had in
mhm,
finding each other. That
mhm,
hopefully somebody else might be able to, just one person. We just need one person to do that and to
mhm,
change the rest of their lives and being with that person that they're meant to be with and their forever, person that they get to experience life with. That's the fun part about it all, is getting to experience all that. So we're pushing towards that. Hopefully, sometime next year, I want to be able for her to finish her master's, feel comfortable with it, and then relaunch into doing a little bit more of that as well. Because I brought her into my crazy live streaming world last at the beginning of this year, doing all of this,
uh-huh,
and I had so much fun being able to do it with her
uh-huh.
that I'm look forward to doing it again because it's fun just coming here and having these kinds of conversations and being able to share. I mean, that's to me, that's the fun part about it all is I get
I
to share my passion
uh-huh.
with her and everyone else.
Yeah, and I love both of you guys that you're both sharing your passions together and how you both are supporting each other. So, one thing is to say that you're doing something, but when people see you and that you're actually doing it by your actions, that's that's a whole that's a whole nother thing. And I think a lot of influence in the media can sometimes, with a lot of derogatory words towards women and things like that in songs and music, can sometimes affect a child and how they treat women, right? And so that's really needed. Uh, how to have a relationship of respect. And that's what you guys are providing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
So,
think there's so much out there that is really misguiding the kids and they think that that's cool, right? And it's not. So,
so
I
yeah.
love it. I'm excited about what you guys are doing. And
I
it's
know
already
we've been doing this an hour.
but But when you're having fun, the hour goes by in minutes, right? It
I know.
seems like it's only
I
been
don't even know what happened.
I'm so glad that we got to meet your other half there. And I'm looking forward to some more. I know she's busy with her masters and everything else, but I'm glad that at least you got to share her a little bit of her.
Yeah, I'm pushing her to push her.
The cat keeps
I'm
attacking
packing her.
me.
Oh, we got our cat in here too. We got our dog. We got our cat. We got it. I said
Yeah,
we're Mexicanos, right?
I
This
want
is
to
how
see
we
the
do it.
cat. I want to see the
We
cat. What's the cat's name?
we we got cats. We got dogs. We got birds. We got kids. We got everything in here. This is
Yeah,
this is how we do it, girl. We got to
that
jam everybody in here.
that's how we do it. The love. You got to spread the love, right?
Got to spread the love. Yeah.
I
So
mean, if you have love to give, why not? You got the animals, you got the kids, give it, right? So awesome. Well, speaking of love, I love you guys for being here today and for sharing your story. I'm looking forward to maybe a part two. We'll see. I know you guys are busy, but you never know. Um,
yes,
maybe when you guys get more situated and a lot of your other things ironed out, you guys could come on and talk about that show. That would
yeah,
be that would be really fun to hear about.
yes. I would
So,
love to. Absolutely, Angelica.
all right, awesome. I want to see a hug. I want to see you guys hugging.
I, I'll do you one better. I don't know if they can do this on LinkedIn. We've done it before, but I don't care. I'll go. There you go.
I was gonna say that, but I said, "Oh, they're gonna think I'm crazy." I'm glad you thought of it and not me.
We kiss on every show that we do.
We wait till the end. That way, if we get kicked off or booted off, it's already over, so they can't do nothing anyway.
That's a
So
happy ending right there. I think we're gonna end it on that. So, I love it. Thank you guys so much for being here. And you have any last words that you want to say? Maybe you want to talk about how people can reach you, how people could get the book that you have, how people could get onto your YouTube channel. Share it, my friend.
yeah, absolutely. So if you want to go check us out, I prefer that you go check out our YouTube channel. It is at Unwrap Love. Just www.youtube.com/at Unwrap Love. We got all our past episodes there. We had 28 episodes that we did. There's a lot of shorts, a lot of things that you can go back. We talked about relationships, dating. I mean, we got a company page on LinkedIn, so you can go follow us there. And of course, you can always see the guide that I'm putting out every day with all these events and everything else that kind of help everybody find all these great creators that are doing what we're doing here. I just love helping build that out as well. If you want to go follow me there, I'm doing that. And of course, then you can just follow wherever I'm at. I mean, I'm doing various shows right now, just trying to get myself back out into the into the live streaming sphere again and get used to doing this. So yeah, if you want to just follow everything, I'm doing an event on, I think Wednesday. We might be doing it Thursday. I don't know. I'm not going to just say just yet because we haven't everything in concrete yet, but we're going to be talking about public speaking. I want to get into the realm of public speaking. And of course, then you can check out the book that I was in back in March. It's called Beyond Borders, Life in the Gray Zone. It was put together by Dr. Constance Leland and Susanna Don, and they helped me in there. And then, of course, I'm about to be published again in another anthology that Miss Nicole, the Gifted Bipolar Writer, is putting out a trilogy of books, and it's called A LinkedIn Love Affair. I am in the first book that's going to be put out with 10 other authors. So that will be coming out. And then I'm also working on my own books to come later on as well. So I'm trying to be a busy man, but with intention. Like I said, and we do want to, and we're writing a love book and we started it. We're got things on hold for the moment because, I want her to, again, clear mind, easy for her to just finish her master's. And then once we do, and she walks across the stage, then we'll push forward and jump into doing more. But for now, that's kind of all I have my fingers in. And you want to connect, again, reach out me. The best place is on LinkedIn. So thank you, Angelica.
Yay! Thank you. And if you want to put all that information in the comments, write it all out there in the comments so that people could know where to go. You know,
I
we're
will. I'll share it in there as soon as we get done here. It
yay.
won't take me long.
That is awesome. Hey, that's what we do, right? I, I
Yes.
think I think we're all here to help each other, and let's do it. Let's do it. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to everybody who was able to listen in today, and to all that are watching the replay. I see there's a lot of other people that came in. We'll be answering your comments later because time wow, you're very popular. Everybody came to see you, my friend. So
Thank you. I try to do my best to make sure that everybody gets their fair share of promotion, and because these conversations are fun, and they add a lot of value,
uh-huh.
and I just want people to be able to listen in, have fun, learn something, take something away from it. Just again, help uplift others in doing the things that we do here. It's just again one of the things I really enjoy doing. So thank you again. I do
Thank
appreciate the time.
thank you. Thank you. And thank you to your other half. I forgot your name again.
Yvette. It's Yvette.
Yvette.
Oh, French. Yvette,
Yes.
Yes. Yvette.
mon chéri. You speak French?
No.
No.
No. I
I
just
have a
know.
little bit of French in my bloodline, but mostly Hispanic. And then like English and German, and I'm a mixture. Portugal, Spain, and Mexico, uh,
Nice.
Northern American, like Mexico area. So
Well, since your name is Yvette, I think that I'd like to hear Gabe say, "Ooh la la."
Ooh la la. I say it anyway when off camera, so it doesn't matter.
I kind of gathered that. All right, I think we're having too much fun, but I think that's what it's all about. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again, and we'll definitely have to talk again. But thanks. Love you guys.
bye.
Have a wonderful evening.
You
You too,
too.
Angelica.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.